Good. You hear me okay?
Yes, we can. All right. So we are live. Welcome everybody to our kickoff team call. This is the emPOWER call. And just so you know, I know that we're all a part of Team Go-Getters, but why I called this the emPOWER call is because I know that I have so many leaders like you guys who have created your own teams. So I wanted to just name it something, basically what it's going to be, what the purpose of this call is, and that's to empower us as a team. And it could be just to live our best life. It doesn't have to be just business talk. So I want you guys to be able to brand this and be able to feel comfortable sending your coaches here. And it doesn't have to be all about my team. It's about all of us as a whole, the entire network. In fact, I don't care who is on this call. I want it to be for everybody. So this is our first team call, and it's going to be very laid back, just like me. We have one of my favorite people in the entire world, and that's Jeff Hill. Obviously, you guys know him. I don't really have to do that much of an introduction, and I don't want to do that much of an introduction for him because actually when we go through, I'm going to talk to him, and we're just going to have like this sit-down conversation like you guys are just in on a phone call with our sit-down with me and Jeff, where I'm just trying to get to know him. And the reason why I wanted to do this, you guys, is because I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like maybe the newer coaches that have come on the team or coaches that have joined even the last 2 to 3 years, I feel like maybe I've dropped the ball myself, and I want to apologize with sharing this stuff, like who Beachbody is, who these guys are at corporate, and like that they're actually really down to earth people who are so kind, have the biggest hearts. They want nothing but the best for us. And so that's why I wanted to have Jeff on here, because I want you guys to get to know him, get to know our mission and the purpose of this company, because it's not, dude, we're not just here trying to sell us. When they put these promotions out there too, like they're not just putting a promotion out there to try to sell, they're trying to help us. Like that's why Success Club was even created, to try to help us succeed so they can recognize us for growing our business and serving other people. Like it's amazing. Okay, so that's I'm going to get into more with Jeff Hill right now. So I wanted to first make sure that I can hear Jeff and you guys can see him and everything. So Jeff, you're there, right?
I'm still here. I was sitting on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Okay. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to just ask Jeff some questions. We're going to just talk, like I said. But first, let me just tell you what I know about Jeff. He has been a mentor to me, really, and not just in business, not just because he's part of Beachbody, but just who he is as a person, who he is as a husband, who he is as a father. Like he really just is such a good person. And he's always been that person, like just reaching out to me to see how I'm doing and just always going above and beyond for this company, for the people in this company. He treats everybody as equal. He's just like a really good person. And so he is we're friends, and he has a soft spot in my heart. I have a soft spot in my heart for him. So that's why I thought I have to have Jeff on this first call. Like I really do. So let's first off start having you share just a little bit about who you are.
Okay, well, my favorite person in the entire world is Mindy Wender. So is that a good start?
That's a perfect start.
That's the perfect start. I read that the way you wrote it. I love it. No, thank you. And I appreciate I appreciate the kind words. And I'm going to have you write my funeral talk when all is said and done, Mindy. And secondly, I appreciate the opportunity just to get on the call and talk to people, because even like me, sometimes you think everybody knows you. Everybody knows what your intent is. Everybody knows why you came here and what fuels your passion, my passion, or others' passion. So I welcome this opportunity, maybe just to share a little bit, in a very, very unplugged kind of way, so to speak. But yeah, so I'm just coming up on my full 7-year anniversary, starting my 8th year anniversary with Team Beachbody. As you shared, a big part of my life is the fact that, been married for a long time. We have seven children, as you've heard me say many times, as we like to say. They're all boys except 6 girls, which means that for those that are slow on the uptake, that means that we have 6 girls and a boy. And everybody always said, oh, you must have been praying for a boy. We had 5 girls, a boy, then a girl. And everybody said, oh, you must be praying for a boy. And it was like, not really. this girl thing is pretty good. I like it. You know, they took care of each other, and we've been blessed. They're probably like their mom, not unlike me. They're low drama. They get along well. They love each other. They take, you know, when we come together, they want to be with each other. And I think that's not about me. It's about my wife and kind of the environment that she creates. But to me, even this business is all about family. And in my life, to the extent that you can align those pieces, you can align who you are with what you do from a professional standpoint, the more tightly you can do that, life becomes very rewarding. And I think that's where, maybe I'll talk a little bit about that in a second, but that's where the passion comes from. So to me, like the best testimony I could give to Beachbody is when my girls say, and girls can be tough, right? They kind of tell you the way it is, at least they do in my family. You know, when they talk about me and who I work for, and they say, oh, you work for Beachbody, this is one of those things that they're proud of. And that's kind of a cool thing. You know, it's not just making widgets, making this, doing this or that. It's about touching people's lives. So anyway, not only do we have kids, we have grandkids. And that's I know you're going, no, Jeff, you're only like 29, but no, it's a little bit older than that. And that's who I am. I went to law school, practiced law, left the practice of law after about 8-9 years, and I went and worked with a company called Covey Leadership Center, Franklin Covey. Now, maybe some of you know who they are. And the reason for that is I love leadership. I love the principles of leadership and change and helping people. And I'm one of those goofy guys that just below the surface, I believe in the greatness of people. And I think the concept of leadership is all about self-leading and then your ability to help other people. And so I had a wonderful 5 years at this company before I got recruited to another company where I really cut my teeth into the network marketing business. And something I swore, honestly, that I would never do in my life. Just because where we live in Utah, there's a lot of companies here. And I just thought, there's so many that aren't for real. There's so many that to me represent the wrong thing and the way they go about it. And it's superficial, transparent, just all about the money. And I tend to be someone that, sure, I want to make a good living. Sure, I want to provide for my family and provide the necessities and the niceties of life. But I want to do it the right way. And I want to do it in a way that I can look people in the eye with great integrity and say, this is what we're about. This is what we offer. This is how we do it. And if you participate with this, you can be proud of what we do and how we do it. And I felt like I started with a company way back when that offered some of that. And I fell in love with the company from the standpoint, and with this industry, from the standpoint that, man, you can help so many people. Your reach can help a lot of people achieve not only a lot of their financial goals, but it just dip into themselves and find their own greatness. And that may sound a little bit foo-foo-y to some people, but to me, that's what scratches my itch. That's what, you know, that's my kind of my sweet spot that makes me want to do better and contribute at deeper levels. So a lot of stuff there. Yeah.
I love that you said that. I think a lot of us on the call can relate to saying, I never wanted to be a network marketer. You know, I think a lot of us think that, but then when we get to know Beachbody and get to know what the mission is and stuff, it's like, okay, wait, this isn't all that bad. You know what I mean? There are some companies that none of us would ever want to be a part of, but there's something different about Beachbody. So, so another question is, okay, so then you start with Beachbody, right? And what was it like getting to know Carl and getting to know what this company is about? Like, what was going through your head?
Yeah. So I don't know the questions you're going to ask me really here, you know, kind of what the order is, but because I want to share what drew me to Beachbody. Is that okay?
Yes, for sure.
As part of that process, I don't want to get ahead of you on this, Mindy. But so, and I already just touched on this a little bit. When I worked at Covey Leadership Center, hopefully you learned something, right? But one of the things that I loved there was it was a very mission-driven company. And while there, I discovered what is referred to, or what I call the 4 L's, okay? And the 4 L's are this. let me just back up one more step, is that we've been really blessed to do fairly well in our lives. I tend to be a fairly driven guy, and I'm certainly not the brightest bulb on the tree, sharpest knife in the drawer, but I work hard and try and provide for my family and learn and keep growing, and as a consequence of that, we've been able to do okay in our lives. As I was at Covey, I learned these 4 L's, and they became a formula, if you will, for how I look at opportunity and how I look at opportunities and at life. And I'm going to throw them out really fast. It's to live, to love, to learn, and to leave a legacy. To live, to love, to learn, and to leave a legacy. Okay, let me just back through those for a minute now. So I found that if I could be somewhere where I could earn a living, okay, and not only provide some of the necessities of life, but as I also mentioned, provide some of the niceties of life for your family, for your loved ones, people you care about, that's a pretty cool thing, okay? And as I looked at Beachbody, and I'll get to the Carl question in a few minutes here, but if I looked at Beachbody, I realized that's something that I could do, that I could make a living and I could provide for my family and take care of them and provide for their future. So that was very, very important to me. I think that's like most people. So to live, to love, if you could be at a place where you honestly love what you do, where you love the people you work with, where you love what you represent, that becomes a pretty cool thing. And I hope people get from me when I'm talking or on stage or national wake-up call, or whenever they interact with me, they're going to get a sense that I love what I do. And I love the people that I work with. I've been lucky enough, the people that surround me, most of them have worked with me before. Most of them because of relationships that I've developed. You know, you're Kim Carver, you're Craig, you're Arnaud, you're Doug. All these guys on the sales side have all worked with me or for me before and have chosen to want to be together in this tribe, in this group, because we have this immense like for each other, respect for each other, and honestly, a love for each other. Who gets that? Okay, so to live and to love, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about it because I feel so deeply about that. To live, to love, to learn. So here you get thrown also into an environment or put in an environment where it's just not same old, same old. Yes, there's mundane in every day. Yes, there's structure in every day. But to be part of an organization where you're growing, you're learning, it's changing, you're challenged. And there's times when you're on your heels because you're going, whoa, I got to catch up. You know, it's thrown me back. I've got to figure this out. But then also leaning into it from a learning standpoint where you get to learn. And the cool thing about it is, as I work with the coaches, we've got this young, vibrant, passionate, self-taught, curious group of people, that we're always learning from a company that's this fast moving, innovative, trying to be leading edge type of a company. You go, who gets that? So every single day from a learning standpoint, there's growth that's associated with that. Not to mention, the challenges of business where you're learning and growing and you're figuring out, okay, man, we're growing like crazy. What do you learn from that? It's slowing down. What do we learn from that? How do we learn, all those pieces? To me, that's exciting. To me, that's fulfilling, that learning aspect of this. And then when you get to number 4, when you get to legacy, that concept of, and this is a big piece to me, is being part of something bigger than yourself, being part of something where you feel like you're putting your fingerprints not only on your own life and other people, on your family's life, but putting your mark on the world in some small way where, I hope when I'm gone from this world, someone will say, Jeff made a difference. Jeff helped us improve our lives a little bit. Jeff helped drive this. And to me, that idea of being able to leave a legacy, being able to contribute to something that's so much bigger than yourself, but to play a role in that, that's a pretty amazing thing. But when you put to live, to love, to learn, and to leave a legacy, those pieces all together, when you can find those, there's this passion, there's this fire that burns within that is fulfilling and that becomes the fuel to do things. And so those became my formula as I looked at a Beachbody to say, okay, Is that there? And I'll, spoiler alert, jump to the end maybe and just say, and I just firmly believe that's what we have. That's what scratches my itch. That's what drives me. And I absolutely love that about it. Doesn't mean it's not hard, doesn't mean you don't work hard, doesn't mean there's not challenges, but it means that when I net everything else out and I look at my life and what I'm able to do and what I'm learning, it's pretty good. And I think the other piece is, and this would be, again, jumping way ahead, but the challenge to you as coaches, people looking at this, I think what you have to do in your life is also kind of align and look and say, what do I value? What are my principles? What do I stand for? What means the most to me? What's the long view of my life? What does that look like? And what am I measuring? What am I doing against? And if what Beachbody is, who Beachbody is, what we represent, as imperfect as we are, lines up with those, then I'd say, I think the 4 L's are embedded there. Now, you've got to leverage that. You've got to take advantage of that, but it's there. Okay, so 7 years ago, I had this opportunity to say, hey, we lived in Idaho, we lived in Utah, then in Idaho, moved back to Utah, build our dream home, got our kids into school, get a phone call from a guy by the name of Brett Blake, who used to be with the company, and said to me, you should come check out Beachbody. You would love it. You'd love the coaches. You'd love what they stand for. And my answer was, I have no desire to move to California. I'm not even sure what Beachbody does per se, but I'm not moving to California. Had that opportunity to move to the Bay Area, and we made a life decision not going to. And it was just a non-negotiable for us. And anyway, long story short, and this is a testimony to no never means no, he kept pinging on me, and he just kept saying, Jeff, you would really like Carl. You would like the company. You would like what we represent. He says, and you would love the coaches. I mean, because they're these product-driven, just passionate people. They're not MLMers, these money-driven people. That's all they want to do. You would really like them, and you'd have an opportunity to help craft culture and put your fingerprints on this and all this kind of stuff. Great, Brett, but we're not moving to California. That just wasn't, we were here. I mean, literally, if you knew where we lived, I'm looking down the street here. I live within a mile of where we are, the river bottoms in this beautiful neighborhood. And it's like, our kids are in school and life is really good. Well, so finally, though, I said, okay, I'll come. He said, just come meet Carl. Okay, I'll come meet Carl. So the night before I went out to meet Carl, Brett calls me back and says, and Jeff, he said, talked with Carl and John and the executive committee, and they just said, if you like us and we like you, we're going to make this work so you can stay where you are. We'll open up offices there. You hire your team. You're going to have to do some commuting, and it'll, might be a little inconvenient, but the blessing, convenience of being where you are, you should be there. And would that make a difference? And of course, that was the sticking point, right? So I said, yeah, that would, if everything else works out, that would be great. So got on the plane, went out to meet Carl the next day. Had no idea really who Carl was. Carl had no idea who I was. And, we'd been fairly successful at some other companies and growing other businesses. And so I was there really on Brett's recommendation. And so Carl sat down, he said, so I guess, Jeff, you're really interviewing us, from the standpoint if you want to work here or not, that, which was a nice way. It was being kind. But so we sat there and we talked, and I just thought, I really like this guy. I like his intensity. I like his focus. I like his sense of mission and his sense of passion, and just wanted to put the right people in the right chairs on the right seats on the bus to get the job done, to really make this work. And I think the pivotal point for him was there was a moment where I just said to him, so Carl, let me just say this, because you really don't know me and I don't know you and I don't know really what you're looking for. But I just said, if you're looking for somebody to come in here that is just going to try and find a quick fix, try and raid other companies' people and bring them in to build this company and just kind of the money deal, type of a thing. I said, there's people out there that will do that. And I am absolutely not your guy. That's not who I am. I've seen that. It doesn't work, and I don't want anything to do with that. So if that's what you're looking for, you need to just kick me out the door and go on. And then it was just quiet for a minute. Literally, it was just quiet. And he looked at me with this kind of like, you are weird, dude. You know, kind of a look. You know, I mean, seriously, I had no idea. And I thought, okay, there went that interview. And you know, and we kissed and left the room. You know, no, we just shook hands and left the room. But that was the piece that became, I think, the catalyst for saying, yeah, we want Jeff on the team. And because Carl wants to grow this in the right way. And so anyway, long story short, obviously I'm here, and the offer was made, and we've built a team. So a lot of people out there don't know this, but we have offices. Our headquarters are in Santa Monica. We have a sales group. We're now calling them coach development. Aligns a bit better, describes a bit better what we do. But we have about 25 people here in our Utah office, from our recognition team to our coach development or sales team, and some regulatory attorneys here. And then I spend a fair amount of time going back and forth to California, a lot of teleconferencing, and as you know for sure, Mindy, anyway, Michael Neiman and I are counterparts, and we together run the network. And both Michael and I report to Carl. But you know what? It's you know Carl. I mean, Carl is focused, intense, driving guy. He is I love working with him because he's always making me go. I tend to be someone who likes to be held accountable, and I like someone to push my thinking. And Carl will always do that. He'll always have me thinking, trying to look around the next corner and think, what can we do better? How can we get better traction? And I like that. The other thing is that Carl is the type of a guy, what's the best way to say this? Man, if I was in a fight, okay, Carl Deichler's the guy that I'd want on my team, because I know the guy's he is not going to quit. I know he's going to be there the whole time, with me, running, and there is no quit in that guy, and his focus and passion to build this company. So anyway, very long-winded answer, but hopefully there's something there somewhere.
Yeah, that was so perfect. And I want to kind of go back to that.
Okay.
Could you tell me what in that meeting, or what in conference calls or whatever, did Carl say, or did somebody say to you that made you that really sold you on the mission of this company? What was it that really was you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Good question. I appreciate you going back to that. So as I shared earlier, I tend to be someone that is, I want to be drawn to what's real. Okay. I want to be drawn to what's real and sustainable. And there were several pieces that really attracted me. Number one was the type of company that we are. We're not selling magic. Okay. We're not selling myth. We're not selling, some kind of a legend. Our secret sauce is sweat. What we do is we are unapologetically real about saying, we know that if you do this, you can get this, okay? And it was the realness of who we are and what we offer, to me, gave me a confidence and a belief and a sense of integrity that when I have to look people in the eyes and I have to have that conversation with them, that I can do so with tremendous confidence. And I love that about us. I love that about us. The thing that's also connected to that is that it's not just, we talk about this a lot, but it's not just what happens in that initial physical transformation type of a thing where, yeah, you do the programs and you have good nutrition and you have the support, you're going to get great results. To me, it's the piece that we're teaching people to do hard things. We're building character in people. And that is something that, I don't know, it's hard to measure, it's hard to wrap your arms around, but here's what I know. Mindy Wenders is great because she got fit, has a transformation story, has learned some discipline and some habits that have changed her life. But as important as that has been transmitted, is being shared into her family and being shared into people around her, where I know that your kids are better off from not just healthy eating and fitness, but because of what they're seeing you do and how that's impacting. And your kids and family are learning that you can do hard things. And out of that comes greatness. And I think when we talk about, again, it's this idea that I think we can impact the world, that this is something that we do, okay? We teach people to do hard things. We build character in people. And to me, more than the money and more than all the other benefits that come, that's the greatest thing that you can possibly teach. There's a phrase that story time. We go to a lake in Montana every year. Take our family at favorite place on earth. Gone there since I was 5 years old, and it was right after Summit. They were actually there a year during a week of Summit, and then I got there for the second week, and all we do is just wakeboard, swim. It's just, it's a blast. It's the favorite time of the year for us. But every night we would create a little fireside, if you will, where we'd sit down, and with all the craziness, of having 23, 24 people there and kids and stuff like that, we assigned each one of the family members each night, they had to give a thought, just something that slowed everybody down, made everybody think, and just kind of, and hopefully engage in some conversation, because you get so busy going. And last night was my night, and I don't know who I heard this from, but I love this quote. And all my kids, I think, were thinking I was preparing them to disinherit them, okay? Here's the quote. It says this: "It's not what you leave to them, it's what you leave in them. If you leave enough in them, you won't have to leave anything to them." It's not what you leave to them, it's what you leave in them. If you leave enough in them, you won't need to leave anything to them. And I think that's such a powerful concept. And I truly believe that aligns with what we do at Beachbody, and that I get to be part of it, is that we're leaving something in people that they're learning and and growing from. So when you say, what was it that attracted me? That was one of the pieces. That, yeah, they were going to treat me well financially. Yeah, I like the team. I got to create my own team. Those things were all, were all exciting. But the bigger piece, the more meaningful piece, the purpose piece, the big idea piece for me was that element of what we got to do. The piece that went hand in hand with that was the idea that our coaches, our field, are people that, and this is proven so true, are these good, caring, passionate people that just want to change their lives and want to create this sense of community, of sharing with other people, and coachable and curious and untainted. Everyone comes with their baggage, but untainted in a lot of ways from a lot of other companies, where you could form this partnership and these friendships, and just, great relationships with people, that are meaningful. It drives me, pet peeve, drives me a little bit crazy when there's this us them mentality, like there's the corporate and the field. And I know we each have our own roles, but I look at this and I go, no, this is a partnership. We have our roles, but this company is us. And the opportunity to work with a group of coaches and people like that, to me, was very, very exciting. And then when you consider that there is such an opportunity and an ongoing opportunity, because the short-term fixes are going to come and they're going to go, and they can become distractions. But if you focus on the real, if you focus on the authentic, and those pieces that we know over time will create results for people, again, there is a future there, there is a business opportunity there, and there's a great sense of, maybe for want of a better word, pride, that where the results can be, in one of Carl's words that he uses office, and I love it, is stunning. That can be so stunningly rewarding. And so as I sat there, I developed my own vision of what it would be. And we were in a good place. We were in a happy place type of a thing. But it was, for me, those were the core pieces that were the attractors to me, and that moved, me. Plus, I heard there was a girl by the name of Mindy Wender, from BI, that might maybe someday accept a phone call from you. So I thought that would be cool too.
I love that. Just so you guys, if you guys don't know our inside joke, like Jeff calls me and I never answer my phone, and
Never.
he gets annoyed with me. I'm a busy girl. But I really like what you said, Jeff. And I mean, you gave me goosebumps like 100 times so far on this call, and we've only been chatting for like 30 minutes. But that's because of what we're doing. And I just know for me, like Jeff said, I have 3 kids. My daughter Lily has autism. She's 5-year-old and has autism. And I can guarantee you, if I didn't start this business, and I started this business 8 years ago, actually before Jeff, right, a year before Jeff came on. So I've been in this business for over 8 years, and I had 1 child when I started this. It was Lane, and he was 8 months old when I started this. What drove me then was just the mission. The mission of like, oh my gosh, yeah, we have these products and yeah, we can make sales. But dude, it would be if I was just all about sales, it would be so much easier to sell Tupperware, because guess what? They're just like, yep, I'm going to buy that Tupperware and I'm going to go use it. And that's easy. Why I love this is because it wasn't sales, because my dad owned 2 businesses in our small community. And he always tried to get me out on the sales floor. And I was like, I suck at sales. This is awkward. I'm shy. I'm not doing this. Never once would I do it. But this was different because we were selling like this lifestyle. And yeah, maybe it would be challenging and not as easy as selling Tupperware, but that's why I loved it, because I am not a salesperson. I am a mom from a small town who wanted to make a difference in my life, in my son Lane, my 8-month-old baby's life, my husband's life. And then I knew, after watching what it did in my life and how it's completely transformed us, what it could do in other people's lives. And then I transformed into this person, like Jeff was just saying, like the people who you're surrounding yourself with, and I do feel like we're just one. Carl, Jeff, us, like we are one, because we're all going after the same mission, right? We're all doing the same work. But I transformed into this different person, a better mom, more driven. And Carl said this at leadership, and I know some of you weren't there, but he kept saying, it's totally possible. And that's something that is ingrained in me in the last 8 years. And I'm starting, Jeff, I told you, I'm trying not to get emotional, but like, I'm so passionate about what we're doing and what this can do for families. But then 3 years into this business, life's perfect, right? Life's perfect. I'm making money, right? And plus I have this team of people who I'm serving, and I'm like loving my job. Like it pulls me out of bed in the morning. It keeps me up late at night because I'm so passionate. And then my daughter was diagnosed with autism. And if I wasn't a coach when that happened, I would have just been like, okay, this is it, hopeless. I wouldn't have had the mentality that this company puts in us, that it's totally possible to make things better, to go above and beyond, to heal, like anything is possible. But it was because this company, people like Jeff, people like Carl, the mission. And because of that, now Lily was told she would never speak again. She speaks in sentences. And I'm not going to go into all that, but I was just saying, look what it's done in my life. Yeah. And that is what it's doing. I'm just one small town girl, right? With 3 kids. I'm just a normal person, a normal mom. But that is what we, Jeff, me, you, Carl, like we have that opportunity to make that difference. And I can tell you, just watching my kids grow up. Lane was 8 months when I started. He's 9 now. And he is actually co-hosting his first challenge group with me for other kids. It's like, isn't that mind-blowing? So I love everything you said, Jeff, like the vision, the mission, like it really, it means so much to me. It means so much, I'm sure, to the team that's listening and that will be watching the recording, because like, yeah, we are making a difference. I wanted to add one more thing, or ask you some more like 2 more questions, maybe. I think we'll have time, maybe 2 more questions. And I guess I just wanted to tell you guys too, and Jeff can elaborate on this, working for Carl, not that I work for Carl, but I've gone to the corporate office, and you don't see this at other places, I don't think. Like I talked to some of the people that work at the corporate, in Santa Monica office. I haven't been to the Utah one. And they're just like, oh, see you later, Mindy. I'm like, where are you going? They're just going to work out. They're allowed to just leave and go work out in the Beachbody gym because that's what Carl allows them to do, because he wants to help even the people that are working there for us. Or you walk around the office and everywhere you look, it says the mission statement, helping others live healthy and fulfilling lives. Like everywhere you look is that mission statement, because Carl wants to remind all of us, all of the employees there, that we are doing something amazing with this company. So if you can elaborate anything on how it is working there and how it is working with Carl and stuff like that, just elaborate a little bit on that.
Well, good, kind of maybe a drafting off your little example of the workout thing. It was so funny just a little while ago. So we're in Utah. Every once in a while, we'll have Carl come out here and he'll just spend a day or two and we'll just jump on calls and, we'll have meetings, things like that. So, I'm always a little bit, you're the CEO. So you want to make sure everything's right. The pictures are hung straight, and all that, the dust, everything's perfect. And we have a gym here as well. Okay. So, I'm telling everybody, you better dang well be busy. You better be on the phones. This place better feel like the New York Stock Exchange, just buzzing, type of a thing, And so everybody, he came in, did our thing, and we went to. I was giving him a ride back to the hotel that night, and he looks at me. We were just talking about some other stuff. He said, you know what my proudest moment was here. The best moment I had here was, and I said, no, what was that? He said, when I looked in the gym, and four of the ladies, in there were working out on Beachbody On Demand. He said, that just did my heart so good to see that you guys are in it, that you're doing this, that this really is part of who we are, and part of what we're doing. And it was like, wait, your time with me wasn't like the highlight. It was this or that, So I was a little disappointed, shed a few tears, but I think that gives you a peek, into the climate, if you will, the environment of what it is. We're trying to walk our talk. We're trying to be fit. And Carl is the first one to admit it's always a journey. There's things he doesn't necessarily like working out. He does, the piece about vegetables and stuff like that. He knows everybody's on a journey, but he knows that it's the work that creates, the results. And the thing that I love about Carl is it's a little bit when I talked about going into a fight with him, from the standpoint of from the passion that he brings and the foresight of looking down the road. So we have this pipeline of products. We've got Double Time going. We've talked about 80-day obsession. You heard about the 2B mindset, at leadership, which is going to be a cool program as well, and all the other pieces. In addition to that, for Summit and beyond, there's always a pipeline of products, fitness, nutritional products, that we're working on. And I just love the creativity that he brings, and just his goal always is to say, okay, where is there a need? Where do we feel the need? Where is there the pain? How can we address that? What's the best way of doing that in the way that we can? And to continue to remind us that there is a tremendous opportunity out there. We have not put a dent in what we're setting out to do. And so, yes, we have work. We have work to do, and we've got to get better. At what we're doing, and it's hard to translate. It's hard to bottle that up and say this is what it is, but it generates an enthusiasm, a feeling, a passion for what we do, how we go about it, and like everybody, it's like we're at the end of the year. It's been a year, right? But it's one where you're just going, okay, we've got this. We got to finish this year strong. We've got this great year coming up with these great products. So while you're in the moment. And I think this is great for everyone to understand, while you're in the moment. That's why it's so important to continue to focus on the long view. What's down the road? What's coming, and understand that there's always something coming down the road that will benefit you. So yeah, you got to live in the present, but but there's other pieces down there. So I don't know. That's what it's like to work with, with Carl. He is driven, he is focused, he is creative, he is innovative, he is passionate, he is relentless, on things. And he's funny. I mean, Carl is a he's just, he's got this sharp sense of humor, quick as can be when you don't expect it. So anyway, that's a bit of Carl.
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much about him, because if it gets too good, then you'll go, oh,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally.
And anyone else that knows Carl knows that he does not like to ever wear anything but a plaid shirt untucked with tennies. At leadership, Michael and I, there's time you want to just tuck your shirt in and wear a jacket, look a little bit nicer. We're walking up to welcome everybody at the elite reception. I've got a jacket on. Michael's, we've got our shirts tucked in, and we're walking up. Is those awkward moments we go up to welcome everybody, trying to yell over the crowd, and it's the four of us trying to say something that really just other than welcome. But he's like, guys, what's going on here? You're wearing jackets and you've got your shirts tucked in, and it's like, don't do this to me. This is me, type thing. Anyway.
So funny. That is so true. Yeah. So, and I was saying this, listening to him at leadership. And again, I know some of you weren't there. That's kind of why I want to touch on this. I heard him over and over and over, just saying all of these amazing things. But I just looked around the room. I'm like, this man in front of me, this corporate team, they work harder than all of us put together. Like, you can just feel it. How you can feel people's energy when Carl's sitting there in front, like, he just wants to make a difference. And the reason why he created, and not to talk about products, because I want to have Jeff end with this last question, but the reason why he's like creating this double time and the daily sunshine and all this stuff, it's because he found out there was a pain or there was a problem, like Jeff was just saying. He found out, and I can so relate to Carl, because I feel like I have that personality too. Like, when I find something out, like, I want to fix it. I want to do whatever I can. Like, when I find out that other moms with autism, they found out that their child will never speak, and that's what they're accepting. Like, I feel like it's my job and my purpose to tell them, no, that's not true. Like, there's ways. And so when I started researching after leadership just about childhood obesity, and 1 in 5 kids, don't get emotional, but 1 in 5 kids is obese, and majority of, on average, I think it was like 8 to 19-year-olds or whatever the age is, but they're on their iPads or have screen time 6 hours a day. And any child from age 5 I can't remember the ages, but I think it was like 8 to 19 who are on screen time or technology 2+ hours a day have a higher risk of getting these illnesses and to become obese and all of these things. And I was just like, what? And this is why my son Lane and I are teaming up to create this movement. And we're teaming up with a ton of coaches on our team. Tara Bialik, one of my top coaches, and I came up with this idea, and it just kind of snowballed. But that's what Carl is putting together, our double time, daily sunshine, which, by the way, I'm like a psycho hippie researcher on nutrition. And that is a legit product. Like, Hudson chases me around the house to get that every single day. Like, if I'm going to give it to my kids, you guys can trust that you can give it to yours, because I'm really picky. But it's just like, that is what he does. Like, that's so cool. That's what our company does. They see where there's a problem and where we can serve other people and make a difference. Like, that's got to make you feel good, right? That you're part of that. You're not part of the problem. You're part of the solution. And that's why I feel like, oh my God, we have a responsibility. Like, we need to remember what this is all about. And that's why we had this call today. So here's the last question that I want to ask you. I want to end on vision. I want to end on your vision. Like, what is your vision? Where do you see us going?
Yeah, great. I think that's a great question. I'm one other piece real quickly is that you're really good, Mindy. You're good. Now, I look at, I'll take it right back to the beginning. Okay. I'll take it right back to the beginning where I started. And so this is in my, through my lens, type of a thing, this idea of the 4 L's: to live, to love, to learn, to leave a legacy. I think that we have, as a company, an unparalleled, just an unparalleled opportunity to impact the world and to change literally hundreds of millions of lives, for the better. As we sat at, and again, the people on this call, most of them probably didn't have the advantage to meet Dr. Grattan, Louis Grattan, who's a new MD nutritional, or VP of nutrition, who provided some great information and insights as to a lot of the challenges. But we have this opportunity, I think, to not, let me take out that word, to think, to impact the world in such a meaningful way. And again, it's not just at layer one, it is at your level and your kids' level, just like you're doing. And the opportunity, while being part of that solution, is to impact people's lives where they can live, okay, where they can love, and they can learn and grow, and they can leave a legacy by touching so many people's lives in positive ways. And we're in North America. We just launched the UK. Sometimes the biggest disadvantage we have, I think, is when we start looking internationally from the standpoint that we tend to overlook our backyard. As Carl will always say, there's 200 million people in our backyard or more. It's growing. Those numbers are growing. Childhood obesity is growing. Adult obesity, is growing. So the problem isn't going away. It's, no pun intended, but it's growing. And we have the opportunity to meet that challenge with products and with our passion and with our support. And as the most powerful way that we as a company can get that message out is through you as a coach, someone who has your own story, who brings your own passion, who brings your own relatability and challenges. Because just like Mindy is a child, not a child, but has 3 children, one with autism, lives in the Upper Peninsula, in a remote, I want to say remote, but I mean, not in the mainstream, has extended a reach and been able to touch people's lives and in such impactful ways that's ours. But the reality is we will continue to expand into the world. It will continue to create additional opportunities. We'll continue to introduce new fitness programs. We'll leverage technology. We'll find the best in nutrition. We'll continue to find ways to make our compensation plan, more rewarding. Again, and I think we'll try and make this one public, but I loved Keisha Fitzgerald's, excuse me, presentation at leadership. She talked about kind of the part-time, the part-time coach. And sometimes there's this sense that people feel like, no, I've got to go full-time on this. I got to bring my husband home. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And her message was, no. The majority of people out there, while that may be a goal for some, there's so many people that can wrap their minds around this and do this part-time and be rewarded and find joy in this and have it bring happiness, to them. And maybe it evolves to that. But this is something that you can do that scratches that itch of helping other people, earning some income that helps with the family, doing good for your family. Who gets that? Who gets that? And again, I can see Mindy's eyes just doing, type of thing. So I'm just looking at her eyes because, again, I'm looking straight in your eyes from the standpoint of we unapologetically, with tremendous integrity, can know that this is what we offer people. And if we're true to supporting people and helping them along their journey, the nutrition works, the fitness problems will work. Then the question is, does the coach help them through those journeys? Because we know if that happens, the probability of success and of change in their lives just increases exponentially. And that's absolutely powerful. So I think we're on the front end of just of the opportunity that's there. But here's where it nets down, okay? Going to bring it back to everybody on this call, okay? And I don't know if you can see this or not. Mm-hmm. So a little card I got, it says, everything starts with a dream. So I'm lucky enough to get little messages from people, from coaches, and every once in a while, and kind of thank yous on behalf of the, directed towards the company. And this is where I think it nets out. Okay. So let me read this to you because it was one of those great letters and I keep it close at hand. Okay. It says, Jeff, what can I say? It's Friday morning, but it could be any day of the week. I'm so giddy that I feel like my heart may explode. Excited about the lives that I'm changing, the team that's building, the dream that's materializing right in front of me every day. Every facet of my life has transformed over the past year and a half. So much so that I can't fit it into a card. Let's just say I'm a completely different mom, wife, daughter, sister, friend. I could never express in words the gratitude I have for you guys, for you, Carl, the entire company, and for this opportunity. Thank you for always leading with such integrity with heart. And I think you all, you don't have any idea of the ripple effect that you're creating in the world. I'm so honored to be part of this all. To me, the piece that speaks on that is when this mom, sister, friend, wife, talks about, and my life has been transformed while doing good for others. That's the vision that it resonates with me, is that one by one, lives are changed, and that ripple effect is so stunningly, powerful. And so I get to be part of that. Mm-hmm. It's a blessing in my life. I mean that it's one of the greatest blessings in my life that I get to be part of this and work with great people and somehow, some way put a few little fingerprints on that. And so thank you to you guys for what you do, for your passion, and for pulling yourselves up by your bootstraps. It's a courageous business. As I'm talking to you, I realize that, you may have kids running around, there's a pile of dirty laundry, you've got a husband that hasn't taken out the garbage, whatever that looks like. And in the creases, in the cracks, you're trying to build this business and try and learn the skill sets to do so. But you know what? It's just a step at a time. Put your heart into it. Intent matters more than technique. So if your heart matters, then knowing all of the skills will come as you do it. So there you go.
Thank you so much. Like, you reading that letter, I don't know if you guys can tell I'm like crying, but I don't want to cry. It's like, that is what we do. Like, Jeff, I can't thank you enough for this call. Like, I don't even feel like I need to end it with anything. I think this call is a call that every single coach in the network needs to hear, to bring us back and remind us of why we're doing this, who we are, what our mission is, and just that is the most important piece. So thank you for your time. I know we went a little bit over, but we thank you for what you do every single day. We thank you for caring about us and going above and beyond for us. And I thank you for your time to speak to us today. That was amazing.
Oh, my pleasure. My treat. Thank you so much to all of you.
All right. Thank you, guys. And for those of you who are watching this, if I know a lot of you are watching the recording as well, because it's during the day, make sure you get this in the hands of your coaches. Okay, let's spread this message. Make sure everyone hears this. And then we will start our weekly team calls next week. This was like our kickoff call. Next week, Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so that'll be a weekly call. All right, everybody. Thank you, Jeff. And thank you, everybody who got on the call. We will talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.